What's up everyone, Ben back from Living Survival, and today we're going to take a look at the brand new ultra lightweight UT27 from Nitecore. Fantastic headlamp, definitely probably my top one or two headlamps with just a few cons to it. It just hits the mark. It seems we can never get a absolutely perfect flashlight or headlamp, in my opinion anyway. Everyone's likes and dislikes are going to vary. Just a few cons with this one, maybe no big deal to you guys. Actually, really no big deal to me either, but I always am going to point out the pros and the cons of anything that I review, so let's take a look. So this is the brand new Nitecore UT27 ultralight headlamp. This thing only weighs 74 grams or 2.61 ounces. Just about as perfect as it gets for a headlamp, in my opinion. We've been close on a couple headlamps, and this one is similar. It comes really close to being a perfect headlamp, but definitely a top headlamp in my opinion. Ultra lightweight, again 74 grams and 2.61 ounces. Really comfortable headband, super lightweight, stretchy headband. Just super lightweight and comfortable to wear on the head, which is what I like. You know, for me in headlamps, I don't need something that's ultra bright, meaning I don't need something that's ultra big and ultra heavy, and this really fits the bill for something that I would use, you know, anytime that I need a headlamp. It is dual beam, so it's got a spotlight as well as a floodlight, and it's also got a red light. UT27 has this plastic housing, so it's not going to be as durable as something with a metal housing, but again, a lot of headlamps are plastic housings, and again, it is super lightweight, so I don't mind that whatsoever. You've got two switches on the top here, so really easy to use. It does fold down 90 degrees, so you have a bunch of different adjustments there for where you want to place that beam, and also is rechargeable, so USB rechargeable, which is really nice. You pop this back cover off here, and it comes with this Nitecore lithium-ion battery pack that's 1300 milliamps. So you see you got your little USB-C input there, so you pop that in to recharge it via USB-C, or it's also dual fuel, so you can use 3 AAAs as well. Now it won't work with the 10400s, but it will work with any alkaline or nickel metal hydrate rechargeable AAAs. So that's really nice. In a pinch, if you don't have a way to recharge this, you can just pop some AAAs in, and you're still up and running, which is really nice. So dual beam and also dual fuel, definitely a plus for this headlamp. Maxing out at its turbo mode, you have 520 lumens. That's a mix between the spot and the flood, turning both lights on. And now you'll notice in the night shots that the spotlight is quite warm. It's 5700 K, which is like the warmest that I've ever seen in a headlamp or a flashlight for that matter. And it might be a little bit too warm in my opinion. Now a lot of people like that warm natural light, but again on this one it might be a little bit too warm, especially considering the floodlight is a tier optic flood. So you have the Cree XP G3 S3 on the spotlight, and then the floodlight is tier optics, so that one is a much cooler light. So I have no complaints at all with the floodlight, which is something you'd use around camp, something you'd use in an enclosed area like a room or a tent or a car, and then when you want to reach out a little bit further, maybe on a hike or biking for example, you'd have that spotlight on. And again, maybe a little bit too warm in my opinion. So that was one of my cons that I noticed kind of right off the bat, is it's a little bit too warm for me. But overall, everything else with this headlamp does make up for it, with the fact that it's ultra light. 520 lumens is plenty. You're going to get a lot of runtime at the different modes. Constructed well, USB-C charging, so this has a lot going for it. Another nice feature is that there is a battery indicator, so you just tap one of these top buttons and you get a series of flashing lights there. Sort of hard to see in the daytime, but it is flashing 3 times, and that means that it is charged above 50%. 2 times flash means you're below 50%. 1 time flash means that you're less than 10%, and then if it's flashing rapidly, it is definitely time to charge. IPX66 dust and water resistant, so definitely no issues getting this thing wet or having it in a rainstorm. You probably wouldn't want to submerge it for any period of time. Definitely not a diving light or a swimming light, but certainly something that can withstand the elements and get a little bit wet. So you have the two buttons up top. The T is for your spot, the W is for your flood. So you basically just hold that down and you are going to get that particular light to come on. So you can see here we have the spot. You can see just how warm that light is. When it's on, if you just single click, it goes between two different light levels. So with the spotlight here, we have a high of 400 lumens that's going to run for 6 hours. We have a low of 100 lumens that's going to run for 10 hours. Then we can switch it over to the flood side just by tapping the flood side of the light. So you can switch between them on your head, which is really nice, really easy to remember, really easy to figure out, and then you long press to turn the light on or off. So if we just wanted to go to our floodlight, we could just hold down that side, and then again tapping it brings you between your high and your low. And for the flood, we have a high of 200 lumens that's going to run for 8 hours, and a low of 55 lumens, which is going to run for 13 hours. Now if we double click any of these buttons, it'll turn on both lights, and that's your turbo. That's going to be your 520 lumens. So just kind of a combination between the two lights there. You can really see how much warmer that spotlight is than the floodlight. So again, you just hold down to turn the light off. Now to access the red light, you just double click from off, and you're going to get your red light. So I believe it is a 16 lumen red light, which is really nice. So although this doesn't have a moonlight mode, and that was one of my other cons, is that there is no moonlight mode, it does have that low 16 lumen red light mode, which is what a lot of headlamps lack, and which a lot of people like to have on a headlamp. You press the button again when the red light is on, you're going to get a red light flash. So you've got sort of a signal mode there with the red light. Again, we just single click to go back to solid on and hold to go off. So really simple and straightforward. You just press long hold the appropriate buttons. So if we want spot, we just long hold that one. We want flood, we long hold that one. When they are on, you just single click to go through the brightnesses, which is really easy to use and understand. Double click to your turbo, and then when it's off, you double click to get to your red and single click to get to your flash. So really simple and straightforward operation. And then there's one other mode, which is the lockout. You hold both buttons from off, and it's going to lock the light out, so that you can't hold down any button, or you can't activate the light again. And then to deactivate the lockout, you simply just hold them down again, and you're back to your regular operation. So first I want to give you some wall shots. This is the spot. This is the low spot. So this is the 100 lumens. And then you jump up to the 400 lumens. Kind of hard to tell how yellow this is in this shot, but it is really warm, really yellow. We can switch on over to the flood, which you can't really see there that great because it is quite floody. This is the 55 lumens, and then we have the 200 lumens. Quite a bit of a difference in color temperature there. You can see how white this one is compared to how yellow that one is, but you can see the warmer the color, the more natural and realistic it gets. Alright, so here we have the fire pit. This is the spotlight on low, spotlight on high, and the floodlight on low, and floodlight on high. Here I've got the shed on the spotlight on low, high, floodlight on high, and low. You can see it really does pump out quite a bit of light at that 400 max lumens. If I double click them, it's going to go on to the turbo mode. Probably going to not notice too much of a difference, although you do get the flood fill around the edges versus just having one of the lights on. Here's another shot of the spot across the yard. It does reach out quite far, and then I can switch it into the turbo mode. Back into just the spot, and back over to just the flood. So again, I'm going to try to show you how warm this color is on the spot. You can see it on my hand there, and hopefully on my head. That's the spot on low, spot on high, then we switch over to the flood on high and flood on low. So you can see how much warmer that really is when I switch between them, and it's quite warm. Again, not sure how well the camera's going to pick this up, but a lot warmer than any other flashlight or headlamp that I've reviewed. I can show you on the grass here the difference as well. There's the spot on high, spot on low, flood on low and flood on high. You can really see the difference in the two beams there, and also the color difference. Then of course we have the red light, which does put out quite a bit of light. Again, I wish it had a moonlight mode, but I can deal with the red light. Pretty cool. And then you can do the red light flash as well. So again, as I mentioned, just a few cons for me. One, that it doesn't have that low moonlight mode, although the low is pretty low, and it does have the red light, so it does sort of make up for that. And then again, the spotlight is a little bit on the warm side, probably the warmest that I've seen in a headlamp or a flashlight. So a little bit on the warm side. It kind of gets some, takes some getting used to. Something that many of you may like. A lot of people do like those really warm lights that reproduce the natural color a little bit better. In my opinion, I like the whiter light. I don't like a super white light, but I like it sort of in between, and it seems like you get sort of the opposite ends of the spectrum on this particular headlamp. You get the really, really warm spotlight with the really, really white floodlight. Overall though, super simple to use, super lightweight. You know, it's very well constructed. Of course, it's USB-C rechargeable, dual beam, dual fuel, and it has a lot going for it. It's definitely a headlamp that I'm going to use for a lot of different applications. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and give it a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you leave me that comment in the comment section below, and feel free to share this video to any of your friends or family who you think might be interested on your social media. Now, a lot of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed, so it would do me a huge favor if you'd take a moment, whether you're on that TV, that computer, that cell phone, to just find that subscribe button, go ahead and click it, and also turn on that notification bell to be notified of new videos.